I'm Glenn McGuinness, and this is Outburst. This week, should Canada keep the Queen as head of state?
I just think it's part of our culture.
I'm not really sure what she does much for us.
Well, I think Canada should be a republic.
I like her. It's good.
But first, as COVID numbers sharply rise once again in certain parts of the country, many Canadians may now be thinking that our behavior over the last 8 months or so of the pandemic may have been complacent. We took to the streets to ask Canadians if stricter rules should once again be applied in hopes of beating back COVID, even if it means businesses having to close their doors once again. Our question: do you think we need a return to tighter pandemic restrictions?
It doesn't matter what we do. The people who are gathering that aren't supposed to be and having parties, they're going to do it whatever restrictions we have. And that's the unfortunate part. And it's actually a big thing for me, because I know people that are doing it. And if that doesn't stop, then we can't move forward.
It's tough to say, right? Because I feel bad for the small businesses. I know a lot of them are suffering right now. At the same time, though, I imagine we can take some more precautions, maybe reduce the number of people in restaurants. I know they've already done that. I mean, it's tough to say. It's really difficult. I don't envy who has to make that decision, but I don't know.
I think it's just unreasonable to keep things open we don't need. Like, personally, I'd rather go through tighter restrictions and just have it over with sooner. Like, I think we opened up way too early.
I think the indoor dining is the one thing and the gyms, yeah. That would be my take, yeah.
I agree. I think everyone needs to be wearing a mask in consideration of everyone else, and I think indoor public gatherings we need to quiet them down.
I think that the government can take a more strategic approach instead of blanket rules. We have more information than we did before, so perhaps we could have hot areas have tighter restrictions while other areas have looser restrictions, so that not everything is all shut down across the province.
Not here in Kelowna, because we've done really well for the most part at keeping our numbers low. They are increasing in BC in general, but here in this part, I think we've done pretty well.
I think so. In a state of crisis and emergency, yes. I know people don't like it, but I think in the long run we'd probably be out of this by now if we had clamped down a lot sooner, a lot stricter.
If outbreaks occur, yes. But if they don't occur in some places, then no. Like in the interior health region, we have so few cases here. So it may be counterproductive in some sense to shut everything down again. But in places like Vancouver, where you may have cases, higher amounts of cases, then it may be necessary.
No, I think we've gone over that, and I think the economy is more important right now. What we're finding is it's serious, and you don't want to get it, but at the expense of the economy and the lives that it's affecting right now, I think that no, we don't need tighter controls at all.
It's hard to say is there's no right wrong answer, but I believe that people are trying to wrap everyone up around in a bubble wrap, and I think good protocol of individuals is better than shutting down everything.
I think when you consider that we have individuals coming in from other parts of the province, yeah, we should tighten up our borders, I believe. In a local area that hasn't had any outbreaks, I don't think so.
Yeah, because I come downtown every night. I live close by and just check mornings, afternoons, evenings. And there's a lot of people not listening. Like, in the evenings, it's all the 20s to 40s. I think they're all staying too close together and not doing everything right.
We're from Ottawa, and we came through 2 checkpoints to get to the Atlantic bubble, and we self-quarantined for 14 days. I think the rest of Canada should be doing that.
Yeah, I would say we probably need to return to tighter COVID restrictions. I would think so. I just keep on top of the borders, make sure that that's closed, and until a vaccine is readily available to be, purchased by people or whatever, right? We need to keep things locked down, I think, until then, for sure.
Yes, I think so.
Could you tell me why?
Because I suppose the second wave is coming, Yeah, we have some reason to believe that. Yeah, we can see what happened in China, or why their control is doing better than some other countries. So although we lose some freedom, but compared with pandemic, so we need to lose some freedom for our health.
You know, as you know, we stayed the blazes home for a while, and other parts of the country did not. So now they're in the middle of a resurgence of that pandemic, a second wave, if you want to call it that. And so, not to say that they can't catch up, or hopefully we won't end up returning to where they are. So what I would hope in this whole thing is that they end up coming back down to a level where we can start opening all of the borders across the country.
Absolutely. I would say the reason being is because just seeing how it's spreading in the United States and within the confines of our own country, you know, with Ontario and Quebec, and there is certainly a second wave happening, so I do think we really should tighten it up.
I don't think so, no. I think that the way that we have things currently are good. I would like to see what Nova Scotia is doing with the masks all across Canada. I would like to see that.
In some provinces, it appears so. It's going to be necessary, and they'll be lucky if they get away with even that. Ontario looks like, Quebec looks like they're all going to die. They're on the Titanic, they're going down, they don't realize it. They're still dancing and singing, but you know, pretty soon they'll be digging graves, I think. I don't know. Could be dark days ahead for the whole country.
Canada remains the only country in the world with a universal healthcare system that does not include prescription drug coverage. For those Canadians without a drug plan, some will have to make the tough choice of buying food or buying their medication. But as good as this sounds, is this something we want or can afford? Our question. Would you like to see a universal Pharmacare plan?
No. I don't think the country can afford it because we're saddling our young people with so much debt right now that a lot of people don't realize it. But I liken the current government to your uncle who buys you all kinds of gifts and you think he's great, but then you find out later it's your credit card he was using.
Well, I kind of go through that right now, you know, cover certain pills I'm taking because I'm on my second heart attack already, and I pay a little extra money for all these. They couldn't put no more stents in me, and they did my bypasses. So now I'm on these pills that I have to take to keep alive, and they're expensive, and I don't get much help from that.
Absolutely. Absolutely, because it's horrendous. Again, the cost of drugs. That when we go to the pharmacy to buy drugs, and some people can't afford them. So they choose between food and their bills and paying for the drugs.
I think it should be based on income. I think a lot of things should be based on income. If you make a certain amount of money, maybe you can afford it, right? Like, I'm not sure that people that make $150,000 a year need to get OAP when they turn 65. I mean, I understand there is a clawback on it. But, you know, these things could be based on income, where those that need it get help and those that don't and have financial means maybe don't need it. Because if you just make it across the board for everybody, then the cost becomes crazy, right? So, you know, based on income and ability to pay.
I think when a country negotiates with drug companies, they can get a better deal than I can get. So I think there's definitely a place for that. How that would work, I'm not quite sure, but I know a lot of better-minded persons, more informed persons, have dealt with the issues and have considered them, and I think that they might have something that would be valuable for the province and this country to consider.
I think it definitely has merit, but I think what we got to do is we got to look at the cost benefit for it. I do see the advantages of where you get people that are not taking their drugs and it's costing us in the medical system, but I see it not a lot different than, say, private businesses or where you buy your health insurance and stuff like that. The bottom line is I think we got to look at the cost of doing it and what are the cost benefits for it.
Yes, I do believe that we should have a universal drug care plan, just because I have a lot of family members who need a lot of various medications, and it's really expensive. So it would be nice to see my family not have to work so hard just to live.
To a certain extent, you know, where it's supporting life and limb, and it's important. I don't believe that we should be giving out methadone or any of that nonsense. I don't pay for other people's drug habits. You know, if they're breaking the law, they want to break the law, or they want to hurt themselves, that's their problem.
Yeah, I would. I think we're very fortunate in Canada to have healthcare as a whole. You know, in relation to the U.S., with Obamacare getting shut down and people having to pay thousands just to get medication, I think if it's possible financially and, you know, taking into account the true voices behind the need, I think it will definitely suit us. It's going to be hard to finance, but in the end, people's health is everything.
I'm a cancer survivor twice, so you can imagine and on pensions, you can imagine the amount of medication that I had to pay for above and beyond. My late husband had cancer for 9 years. It was thousands of dollars. We were able to sustain that because of our, you know, work as such, and live minimalistically at times in order to offset other things and still help others. Again, I'm not saying this is a power thing. I'm saying there has to be a strategy involved. But yes, definitely national health care, definitely, please.
Yes, but I'd like to see some restrictions so that people contribute to the Canadian economy before they start withdrawing too quickly out of it. So I'm all for Canadians, all Canadians, on Pharmacare, but I don't want Canada to bankrupt itself.
It's difficult in this day and age to make ends meet as it is. One issue is dental, although I'm not sure if that's what the question pertains to, but nonetheless, money back in my pocket for universal Pharmacare or what have you would give me more access to dental care through my own pocket, what have you. Yes.
As far as seniors, there's so many seniors out there that they're lucky they're being able to eat. And they may look at, do I get my drugs before I eat, or do I eat and not get my drugs? So an international or national Pharmacare, absolutely 100%. I would pay more tax just for that.
Yes, absolutely. Too many people are going hungry, and they have to make a decision between going hungry and taking their medication, and, you know, hard choices, and it should be for free, medication.
We're a very large country with diverse views, and the provinces should have a strong say in what goes on in their areas of jurisdiction.
In what year did John Turner serve as Canada's 17th Prime Minister? 1964, 1984, or 1994?
1964. I'm going to go for 64 too, yeah.
64.
1984.
1984? 1984.
84?
You know what? It's 1984.
Really?
It is.
John Napier Turner served as Canada's 17th Prime Minister from June 30th to September 17th, 1984. First elected in 1962, Turner was a longtime cabinet minister under Lester B. Pearson and Pierre Trudeau, both as Minister of Justice and Minister of Finance. Turner briefly left politics in 1975 to continue practicing law, but made a comeback in June of 1984 to win the Liberal leadership following the retirement of Pierre Trudeau, making him Trudeau's successor as Prime Minister. He would ask the Governor-General to call an election for the following September. As fate would have it, Turner's Liberals would lose to Brian Mulroney's Progressive Conservatives in an historic landslide victory. Turner led his party again in the 1988 federal election and stayed on to lead the Liberal Party until 1990. John Turner retired from politics in 1993.
Since the pandemic began, it has had a profound effect on Canada's economy and on local businesses due to nationwide lockdowns. Now that a second wave seems to be in progress, Canadians are fearing the worst. We ask Canadians if this country is strong enough to weather another hit from the pandemic. Our question:
do you believe Canada's economy can withstand a second wave of COVID-19?
We're going to go under because the only way, you either raise taxes, which people aren't huge on, you cut government spending, which is absolutely something we need to, uplift the lower income communities as well. And then the last one is you print off more money, which then our country becomes inflated and no one really respects our money anymore. So it's kind of like a dead end. So no, we will not. And let's pray that we don't get there.
Canada is such a big country with such a small population, with enriched natural resources. Although we suffered a lot in the pandemic, but we can stand by it. Yeah, no problem.
Not easily. I don't think that's been spelled out yet as to what the cost of this is and for how many generations it's going to take to replace it. You have to react, you have to do something, but we can't withstand it for very much longer. I think that you've got to get these businesses and the economy going, and we've got to start opening trade and all the other things that go with that. So we're not very much left with much else to do but to start looking at how we're going to get that going again. And we could be in trouble if we have a second wave, especially here in Nova Scotia. And it's a fine balancing act, because I don't think we could jeopardize people's health just for the sake of the economy. I think that the more we open, the more danger some people are in. It's interesting now, I was looking, that we've got more cases but less people hospitalized. So I'm not sure what that says, and I take a look at the statistics thinking that 60% of the people that have COVID right now are under 40 years of age, and my fear is that it's going to eventually transmit to us older generations and the seniors in homes. So sacrificing those folks for the economy, tough balance.
No, I don't think we're going to stay in this one either. It don't matter about the second one. We still haven't seen the outfall of all this. How many of these companies are going to be bankrupt by next summer? There's no tourists in this town, and this is a tourist town. This stopped being any kind of construction or any kind of industrial city long, long time ago. And they ain't got no money coming in now. So how are they going to survive?
I don't know where they're going to keep getting more money. But that's a hard question. Really hard question. I don't know. I'm kind of lost on that one, because I can't see how they could just keep another 6 months of giving everybody $2,000 a month, but it might have to be that way.
It is worrisome how much money is being spent, but it's also necessary. I think that they're making the best choice they can in a tough time. There's no clear good choice that I can see. Doing the best they can like everybody else.
I believe Canada's economy can stand a second wave of COVID, but we got to have political leaders that are going to get the economy going and be responsible, and we got to, instead of just giving out money and being popular because you're the one holding out the money, we got to deal with getting jobs and stuff like this. In many cases, jobs can continue, especially in isolated areas, and we can maintain social distancing and still provide for the economy. We got to reduce the red tape for businesses.
No, I don't think our economy, we can't keep throwing money at this. It's not going to go away. We have to clamp down and get a handle on it quickly.
It may or may not. It's hard to say, because I don't think this is the last virus that's going to come along. There could be COVID-21. Who knows, right? So we have to be ready for it.
It depends how we react to it. If we shut the economy down, it's going to be troublesome. I think we've seen from our economy, the opioid crisis has been increasing since the economy shut down. Now there's a cause and effect right there. So we cannot shut the economy down again. We need to all be educated on how to respond to it. We have to, follow the rules, wear the masks, do our 6 feet. That's the only way. There's going to be others. This is the new reality that we live in right now. COVID is this year. who knows what's coming in a couple of years. So we have to be prepared, but we can't keep shutting the economy down.
You know what? We've gone through the First and Second World War, etc., etc. Yeah, although we will have to pay our dues down the road.
COVID caught us at a time when we are probably the most indebted that we've ever been in the history of Canada. It's not a good time, but hey, if we spend our money and got ourselves in this position, that's just the way it is. I think we have to, just like Bonnie Henry said, take care of each other regardless.
If we don't completely shut down, yes. If we go back to lockdown, it won't. It'll be hard to get out of that.
I guess it depends what lockdown measures we take. I'm an optimist, so I hope so. I trust those at the top will make the right decisions, but I have absolutely no idea.
As of next year, Barbados will officially be dropping the Queen as its head of state. It's the first country to do this in almost 30 years. For quite some time, Barbados has been looking to cut ties with what it calls its colonial past. But the Queen, as you may well know, is Canada's head of state, and the monarchy has a massive influence on Canadian culture and its system of government. But is it time to rethink the Queen's role in Canada? Our question.
Should Canada keep the Queen as head of state?
Absolutely. Don't even go there. I'm British. And of course we should. Absolutely. Definitely. And who have Prince Charles and Prince William, absolutely. Because I'm a royalist. And I think that Canada definitely needs the Queen.
No. And stop paying for their darn royal tours. And no, we should not. It's a lovely figurehead, but I think her time is past. And no, I don't think we should.
I like the monarchy. They're nice. They have a nice symbolic value, and I like the way Canada's political system is set up. I wish we had representation by population rather than a first to post. I think that would have some value for us. But I really like the monarchy. They're not perfect, but neither am I.
I don't understand why we even have a Governor General. I mean, for what? She's purely symbolic now because Trudeau brought the Constitution back from Britain, right? And so yet we still have this Governor General. And what is her role? We pay her a lot of money for doing what? No, I don't think we have any need for the royal. I'm not a royal fan. I think that they're superfluous to society. I mean, why are we honoring a monarch?
Yeah, I like her. It's good to see her at the Legion. There's tradition there. I think it's worthwhile.
I'm not really sure what she does much for us. So it's just been that way for all those years. So I don't know, maybe just let it be, I guess. But some countries are already deciding to change, I understand.
I saw the movie, Queen. It was great. It was one of my favorite movies. It's also one of my favorite bands. But I don't think that we should be keeping someone who is in a position like the Queen where it's just a figurehead. And there's no purpose for that.
I would say yes, is not for the belief that I don't believe it really costs Canada a lot of money, and it is a good figurehead, and it creates stability, and it looks good on paper.
I find it so debatable because it's not like she really has much say in what we're doing, but at this point it's just a formal title. Like, I don't think we really need her, so if we did, either way it wouldn't really affect things personally. I think personally.
Absolutely.
Why?
A constitutional monarchy provides safeguards that you may not necessarily see in other systems of government. We need a safeguard. I could elaborate. I'm a policy guy.
But you think why is the Queen a safeguard?
Queen is safeguard when everything else fails and we need to decide who runs the country. We need some mechanism to do that. The Queen happens to be the mechanism we have. But we need a mechanism at the end of the day.
I don't think so.
Why?
I just don't think, I think it's past overdue.
Why do you say that?
Well, I think Canada should be a republic. republic like the United States.
I've grown up, of course, in an age where the Queen was very important as a symbol in the context, and being an educator as well. I taught school for a number of years. And in that context, there was a connectedness, as you know. Of course, we are rooted in the British context and our government system in many ways. And then, of course, we've had the break where now we're autonomous. Canada's autonomous, of course. However, there's nothing wrong with having the Queen as a figure that is part of who we are.
From a financial point of view, if it's costing us money to maintain the Queen as the head, I think the answer is no. I think we have to recognize the contributions of the past, and we're a big country. We should be able to stand on our own 2 feet without having to pay them.
Yeah, I think we should. I think we should keep the Queen as the head of state because it keeps that relationship that we have with Western Europe intact. I think so. I think so. Yeah, I'd like to see that.
Yes, I think so. Yes, she's nice. Why not?
I enjoy all things royal, and I don't think that it's anything that's harmful. And I think it's been that way for a long time, and I have respect for them, for the royal party and the royal family, and I just think it's part of our culture.
I believe so, yes.
Tell me why.
I feel like it's just been that way for so long. I feel like changing it up, it's just going to get confusing.
No, we don't need to have her as, our crown anymore. It's 2020. She has nothing to do with this country anymore. So
no, and I agree. We're our own country now, and I think we need to stand up as our own country, and I don't think we need to have the direction from the Queen of England. I really don't think we need that. So, simple answer, no, I agree with him.
Don't think so. No, can't see it.
Why's that?
I don't know. She just is over there. Times have changed. I don't see why we're still following their rule, I guess. We're over here, they're over there.
In my opinion, a glue that binds us together. And I know it's tricky for immigrants because that's not their thing at all. Like, why should I have to live under a British symbol? But if it isn't broken, don't fix it.
Thanks for watching this episode of Outburst on the Cable Public Affairs channel. I'm Glenn McGuinness. If you have any comments about this show or any other show, you can find us on social media. You can also find us on our website at www.cpac.ca. It's your turn to speak up, and we're listening.